Okay, this is Critical Discussion. This is Critical Discussions episode 11, and today we're discussing Russian mobilization because something has happened that I did not think is possible and I didn't think will happen, and yet it's not only on the table but it's been officially announced. Put inside mobilization flaw basically, and yeah, another sort of basically another stage, another part of russo-ukrainian war, Russian aggression is starting right now. um it's kind of surreal to think about it because it is so well. Yeah, I feel like this is more shocking. No, it's not more shocking, but it's second second sort of on the scale. No, okay, it's also not true. Third on the scale of atrocities that Russia has committed in year 2020. First of which was actually invading Ukraine. Um, Second of which was when the world uncovered all the atrocities committed by Russian army in Bucha, and now in Izium, but and in many other cities in Mariupol, everywhere across Ukraine, but just the first one, Bucha, just murdering of civilians, indiscriminately, just murdering, shooting in the back of the heads people who were captured and held captive with tied behind their back arms and stuff like that, hands. And now this is the third most shocking thing, is that Putin decided to escalate the war even more. I don't think he will succeed in this, but the fact that he went here, now I think it's actually not without the realm of possibilities that he might actually, after this mobilization will have failed, because it will fail. After basically what I think is going to happen is either Russia will collapse and Russian people will actually start protesting and actually start like trying to overthrow the regime, or Putin will actually use kind of small nuclear warhead in Ukraine. And maybe then that's the thing, like with this mobilization right now, I don't think nuclear should be out of the question anymore, because it feels like well, he's so desperate that he actually is willing to go to mobilization, even though if he has even one working brain cell, which is, it's a question if he does or does not, because he started the war to begin with. But if he has even one working brain cell, he must understand that it will fail. Like you cannot, like I mean Putin, you've done everything to create as kind of amoebic, right? Like as this like kind of this society that does not participate with whatever government authorities is doing. You were doing this for 20 years, and now suddenly you're calling these people to actually join your army. Like, no, it's not gonna work. It's not going to work. So let's actually um, let's take a look at several pieces of propaganda. This is RIA Novosti. This is once again basically the main, or one of top like 3 main propagandist channels in Russia. Channels meaning media channels, right? And this is the news that Putin called upon Russian people basically and said about referendums, whatever this garbage. And the comment section well, I mean, I'm still amazed that they still have comment section, but because it's mostly sort of pro Russian bots, paid accounts, or just I don't know. I've spoken about RIA Novosti and their news in like past episodes, and I still don't understand why would anybody go to this website, because it's like literally solo propaganda, Russian propaganda. Why would anybody want to listen to this shit? I don't know. However, this is the comment section under that news piece and under that video about mobilization, and dislikes is 7.7k, almost 7.6. Sorry, the amount of dislikes 6 point almost 7k, 6.7k, and likes 6.4k. Um, which is already like, it's already 50-50. But once again, um, there are a lot of bots here, a lot of trolls, a lot of paid accounts, right? Which is which is already quite insane. So probably like the public opinion in general of it all will be absolutely different than even this 50-50. It's not going to be 50-50. It's going to be like probably 70-30 towards disliking the war or mobilization efforts and whatnot, and 30% maybe to kind of support that shit. What is interesting is I found several comments sort of like, why is somebody like asking like, why do you need mobilization if everything is going all right, like if there are like hundreds and thousands of Ukrainian army personnel dead, but on Russian side there is almost no deaths, like 5,000 or whatever. And people are saying like, well, you've been told that your homeland is actually in danger, so you must believe it. And people are just fucking upvoting and laughing at it because it's over sarcasm, and it like, even at this resource, which is 100% just Russian fucking dumpster propaganda, people do not believe this shit. People do not sign for this shit. People, even probably even there's even this like jokes that people are, it's not jokes, even like you can see it in Twitter. I'll show it to you later. People who had like Z signs on their cars scraping them. And people are commenting like, what happened? What happened there? Yeah, it's one thing to be like a fucking armchair analyst, and it's another thing now, this whole rhetoric about war. Oh, we need to fucking fight, we need to support our troops, blah blah blah, all this kind of absolutely brain dead shit that Russia has been spreading in the media sphere via their channels in the past, for the past 6-7 months at this point already. Now it's kind of it's taking it's kind of taking the full circle basically, and it's biting in the ass those who were cheering for the shit, because now now they can actually end up mobilized if they're like not careful, if they yeah if they're not careful, basically, if they will not sort of avoid basically the draft. And people are saying like, what kind of fucking mobilization are you talking about, to have a war on the territory of another country? And it gets once again like 2-1 up votes versus down votes. So even people on this dumpster garbage fucking shit, it's people don't subscribe to this shit. People are saying that like, okay, like, why don't fucking the patriots, very loosely, we're using this term very loosely, patriots, those cunts who actually sitting in like Soviet of Federation, in the presidential administration, members of parties, all the fucking bureaucrats of all kinds, why don't they go to war? Why don't they send their children there? And once again, 34 upvotes, 14 downvotes. So it's once again like 3-1 kind of ratio. So even with the amount of bots and paid trolls and whatnot, it is 3-to-1 ratio of people who actually support this shit or those who don't support this shit. Oops. Yeah. And in his speech, this fucking brain dead cunt, Führer of 2022, said that we need to do this, like to call for mobilization, to protect our motherland, its sovereignty and territorial integrity. And people are asking, like, what? Somebody actually attacked Russia? Like, excuse me? And once again, it's like at least the same amount of likes and dislikes. With once again, this website ria.ru is filled with bots and pro-Russian, with Kremlin fucking garbage shit. It's filled with them, and yet even on this website, it is still kind of people basically are showing it. No, no, like we don't believe this shit. There is another one. Um, there is another one about Shoigu actually, like calling to this for mobilization, and it's exactly that. It's exactly the same sort of rhetoric that no, thank you, or something like, why don't you go? Why doesn't your son or why don't your children go, or something like that, And the amount of likes and dislikes is once again almost the same, almost equal. But once again, with the notion that this website is fully filled with paid bots, trolls who would upvote everything that sort of government reposts. So it's like, yeah, absolutely interesting, isn't it? I'm pretty sure Russia will fail this mobilization, but that's why I'm saying like life in Russia will now become for um, young males way more worrisome, and also for actually medical personnel, because even women who have medical degrees now actually can be drafted, which is insane, which I kind of didn't know before about it. But yeah. And those those who can, Russians who can actually get out of the country, that was the sort of notion on 24th of February 2022. The notion, and actually a lot of people did go, did fly or took their cars and went out of Russia because they were actually fearing exactly that, mobilization, nationwide mobilization. Even though this one is supposedly not nationwide, not fully nationwide, it's like a partial mobilization right now, because they're going here, because they're actually going to mobilization, to a draft. It's like 100% that they've almost lost the war already. Now it's just a matter of time, just a matter of casualties, both for Ukraine, obviously, and for Russians as well. And it's the matter of what will be the last sort of nail in the coffin of this regime. But yeah, Russians are basically buying tickets to fly out of the country. And yeah, apparently tickets to Yerevan, right, into Armenia, already cost like 5-6 times more than they were just a couple days ago. Same with Georgia or Serbia. You can't even go there, for example, into some destinations right now um, because there are no tickets, for example. Certain destinations certainly still can get, but panic is happening right now. And yeah, it's understandable, obviously, because nobody, like, no sane person wants to fight in this absolutely unjust war. And I could totally understand if you have an option to run away, you should run away, obviously. So it's totally understandable, in my opinion. But it just sort of suggests to me that it will continue to drain brains from Russia, right? Because once again, like, some IT professionals, they didn't leave Russia, some did, maybe some engineers were on the fence or whatever. People, it's hard to change, if especially like if you're like wherever 35, 40, maybe you have family, you have uh, mortgage, wherever, you have your flat somewhere, uh, you have a car, whatever, you have lived some sort of alright life, right? And now suddenly you need to switch everything and leave. That's kind of insane. So I can totally understand why a lot of people didn't do it. But fact of the matter is that right now, things are escalating to higher and higher level, and apparently, once again, Putin decided that um, he can't lose it. He can't lose this war, which he will lose it, right? Like I'm saying, it's just a matter of time, and the matter of the cost of it, right? Not the cost even to Russia, like I'm saying, not the cost to Putin itself, but himself, but the cost to Ukraine, the cost to when this will fail. What will be the next step? If he will actually sort of use kind of small nuclear warhead for to I don't know, to strike Kyiv, let's say, right, or whatever, Kharkiv, right, or yeah, Kharkiv probably will be the closest city, big city. What will happen next? How West will actually retaliate? What like actual West, not Ukraine? What the West will do then? That's the main question I have now, because um, now it's I think before I thought like the nuclear is out of the question, 99.9%, not gonna happen. Now the desperation kicks in to Putin and his regime, and who knows? And now who knows if he will know that he's gone, like he's gone. Who knows what the last decision will be? That's actually kind of scary to think about it right now. To be honest. Um, Ministry of Internal Affairs thinking that they could mobilize about 40 to 50,000 people um, in the first wave, if we can call it like that. They call it like that, which I think is absolutely bizarre and um, really sort of really sort of what's the word for that? Oh my god, I'm losing my fucking mind. I'm trying to find the word. It's very opportunistic. That's the word. And yeah, very brave of them to say that they will actually be able to get 50,000 people out of 300,000 that they actually want potentially to mobilize. I don't think so. They've spent the last day, I mean, Russia and Kremlin, all their fucking official and unofficial channels. They've spent basically 2 or 3 months trying to mobilize. They tried to mobilize basically anybody. They went so far as to go to prisons where people were, sitting for like 5, 10, 15, maybe even more years. And even all of that sort of shenanigans, for 3 months they've done this. They were doing this, and even that, I think, got them about 6,000 prisoners. So not sort of not a small amount. Let's put it that way. Um, I'm not sure. Yeah, about 6,000 is basically those who said they agree kind of to join this, but it's not the amount that they've actually sent there. They've sent about 2,000 people, which is I don't think it's gonna be. But this is basically like a cannon meat, and unfortunately, this is the truth of it. It's basically a cannon meat that they've that the Russians are doing are that the Russians have found basically. But think about it. It took them about 3 months. They were able to recruited about 6,000 people, and this is from the people who basically have like nothing to lose. Um, even like a whatever in a middle sort of nowhere in Russia, you still have something to lose. You have to lose your freedom. You have something to lose. Is your life. Even like whatever, some sort of plumber or electrician, on a small salary, whatever. You still have a lot of things to lose. Like I'm saying, your freedom and your life, most important of them. And so I don't think they will be able to do the same with the Russian population. At the same time, Russian population is big, 145 million or so. Now probably less, but even let's say 140 million people. There is a good chance that you will be able to find 10, 20, 30,000 people, maybe even 50,000 people, I don't know. But I just don't. That's my problem. Like, I am so against the government in Belarus and Russia, that, and against like totalitarian, authoritarian, those kind of cunts in general, everywhere across the world, that I just don't understand like the mentality of people who might agree to actually join the war just for money. Once again, I can understand people. Well, yeah, okay, I can understand people in jail. They might use it as an opportunity to just like run somewhere, like to get out of the jail and then like run somewhere, or even like maybe uh, surrender to Ukrainians, something like that, right? Like something like that. But just a normal human being living in freedom outside of jails, whatever. I don't understand like why would anybody agree to anything like that. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Something that I've mentioned, that Russian medical personnel starts getting the subpoena summons, basically draft notices, notes, and it's actually not even for governmental workers, but apparently people from Moscow private clinic, family doctor, they're getting it. So yeah, and even like I said before, even females are getting those kind of things, and I didn't know that medical workers, even females, are basically liable for military service. Didn't know that, but that's the thing. What's interesting once again is that Shoigu, the Minister of Defense of Russia, which is just so bizarre, this is such an Orwellian Ministry of Defense of a country that that is right now that has started the biggest offensive war in Europe since World War II. Sergei Shoigu, right? That fucking cunt. I showed you his mention in his giant house in one episode. Um, that cunt, he was never in the army. So the cunt who is right now the fucking first commander of the Russian army was never in the army himself. And this is like this is just this whole Russian Kremlin apparatus, that mafia basically, that has seized power, usurped the power. It's the same as in Belarus, but in Belarus, way smaller country, so people don't realize it. Really, and in Russia, like it's just like so much more wealthy country, and they are so much more basically, um, basically cocky about their wealth, and just so like fuck you, you're just plebs, you're just like nothing to us. That none of those cunts who actually right now created this war, none of them will go to this war. None of their children will go to this war. In fact, they're saying exactly that. Um, they're saying exactly that. Oh my god, I've had this like little somewhere. I've had this little. Yeah, son of Peskov, which is Putin's basically spokesperson. Um, son of Peskov said he declined to get to the drafting office, военкомат we call it. Военный комитет is like a war committee basically, office. Um, and basically popular politics is people basically associated with Alexei Navalny called to this guy Dmitry Nizovtsev, which is interesting that he doesn't have. Oh, sorry, no, Dmitry Nizovtsev is no, never mind. Nikolai is the guy of the from son of Peskov, and and so the reply of the son: you must understand, if you know that I am Mr. Peskov, and Господин is like this, like master almost Peskov, in Russia, that it's not necessarily right for me to be there. I'm gonna be deciding this on another level. They think that they are on another level, you know. They don't associate themselves with just fucking plebs, you know. That's the giant. Mm, that's the giant sort of. That's the whole issue that a lot of Russians just don't understand. Just how actually Kremlin and all of those cunts in the government truly think about regular Russians. They think they filth. They think they're nothing. They think they're like bugs that you can like fucking squish them. And they it's all over. They all almost universally think like that about regular Russians. And this is a giant sort of unfortunate thing that I don't know how it happened, but in Russia and Belarus, in these countries, people are what we call terpila. Is this like a basically term, denigrating term, about a person who will be patient forever? You know, it's like a yeah, you will like and patient in a bad way. You know, there are times when you need to respond and like stand for yourself. But terpila is this term that basically describes you as a person that you will never stand for yourself. And I don't know how it happened. Maybe it was those like Stalinist repressions, and people just learned over the time to stay silent. Otherwise, you know, people get killed, murdered, or sent to fucking Siberia or whatever the fuck, right? maybe that's like years and years of basically like negative selection in a way. I don't know. Truly, I don't know. But this always puzzles me and will forever puzzle how in Ukraine, like every whatever 4, 5, 10, whatever years, they would protest and try to create like little revolution against, or at least revolt against their governments. And in Belarus and in Russia, it just never happens. Almost never happens. And even if it happens, like it doesn't go anywhere. I don't understand truly this. Is there like really like mentality, such big like mentality differences, or is just the fact that in Belarus and in Russia, those cons have seized the power and we're holding really, really tight to it for the past like 25, 30 years. And in Ukraine, there was change of power, constant change of power. Probably that. Don't know. But yeah, um, this Kant, once again, the son of Peskov, says that nor you nor me don't need that. No, let me rephrase it. Like, I need to understand what is going on and what kind of rights do I have. Um, for me to be drafted tomorrow, for me to be taken tomorrow, believe believe me, you don't want this and I don't want this, or like you don't need this and I don't need this. I don't have a problem to defend my motherland, but I need to understand um, my advisability, expediency, whatever. Basically, um, do I need there? I need to understand. Do I need there or no? Am I needed there? Something like that. Yeah, that's the joke of it all. That is the joke of it all. That's the thing that I struggle to explain to my older parents who are now like 60 something, that the authorities, they don't give a fuck. Not even like a one flying single fuck. They don't care about you. Not in Russia, not in Belarus. They don't care about you. And if you like sitting on this like edge, like, oh, do I support the fucking government? Do I not support the government? You're just playing into hands of the government. 'Cause they don't give a fuck about people. Prior to that, they gave a fuck about billions and billions and billions of dollars that they were fucking stealing from people. Now they give a fuck about just sending regular Russians to die. That's it. That's it. Nothing else. They don't care about people. All while, and this is, once again, this is just insane, that Duma, this is the Russian parliament basically, or is it Russian No, if Russia has a parliament, whatever. Russian governmental, um, one of the top governmental brain, I don't know, office administration, something like that, said that um, the biggest amount of mobilized mobilized citizens will be from central or western regions. So that's the same shit that's been going on already. Most of the people that go to this war, they don't go from good or like better regions. They don't come from Russia. They don't come from like St. Petersburg. They don't come from other sort of regions with million people cities, right? They come from poorer regions, from central and western Russia, the regions that actually are filled with natural resources. But because of the system, how Russia is set up, all those people, because of the system, how Russian Federation is set up, basically, all the money from all the regions, they go first to Moscow. So, and then they been basically like redistributed to various different regions, while a giant portion of things just stay in Russia, doesn't leave Russia, Moscow, sorry. And so I just want to see the day when all those regions, instead of just fucking silently going to war and going to die, basically, instead they would revolt against Moscow and say like, fuck you. Like, we have our own national kind of resources on our territory. We will not send anything to Moscow anymore. If you want to take it, come to us, let's fight us. This is actually the biggest opportunity for all those regions right now to actually say fuck you to Moscow. I don't think they will be able to do this because, unfortunately, that's the thing. The second thing, that all those heads of the governments of those regions have been put there by Kremlin, by Putin himself. They're appointed. Previously, they were elected by locals. Now they're not elected by locals. Now they're appointed, and all of them are cunts from that Kremlin's party, United Russia, Единая Россия. And so now those who are in power there, most of the time anyway, they basically owe the ability to steal from the people to this party, to the government, to the authorities, to Kremlin, to Putin. That's why it's less likely that they will be able to revolt, actually. But I would love to see that. Absolutely love to see this, because Russia, in the terms how it's set up right now, and in the scale of Russia right now, and just in the fact that there's so many different nationalities, that Moscow, even though Putin is saying that, oh, we are one fucking nation, we care about all our different nationalities, no, they don't. And this is exactly the demonstration that they don't. They would be absolutely happy for people to go to this war and die from central and western Russia, the regions that Moscow does not give a flying fuck about. These are the regions. Some of them are the regions where giant forest fires were raging. Probably still raging right now, while Putin is saying that we have no problems with fires, with forest fires, wild forest fires. Everything is under control. So I just hope so much that Russia collapses and actually splits into various different regions. I want it so much. This is like, because the Russia and its current state is a terrorist organization, a terrorist state that's brought a lot of death and a lot of destruction and a lot of wars, even in the past like 30 years, to the different countries around them. This needs to end. It has to end. It just has to end. And like I'm saying, it is going to end. The question is how it's going to end. What we're witnessing right now is the collapse of Russian Federation. It's not an empire. It was never an empire. It's just a big country with a lot of natural resources. Absolutely kleptocratic cunts in the parliament and in all levels of like authority, government, whatever, who just like do one thing: steal money. That's all they do. That's all they do. And there is a lot of like decent people who just want to work, who just want to have a good living, have a normal living, at least normal life. And I think those people kind of deserve to finally sort of get away from Moscow, get away from Kremlin, get away from all of this guy. I don't think they will do it truthfully. I hope they will. I don't think they will though. Anyway, um, let's continue. Let me just talk a little bit about um, Al Pugacheva, which is one of the most like famous singers, pop queen in a sense. In Russia, back in USSR, she was absolutely like one of the most famous singers, probably the most famous singers. And she like she's slightly weird. She has a husband who's like, I don't know, like probably 20, 30 fucking years younger than her, whatever, Maxim Galkin. And so he was speaking against the regime for quite some time, even though like they've both kind of worked on like national TVs and whatnot, but I didn't notice when he started to be against the war and against the regime, but he did speak out quite vocally. And so he was put basically on the um, foreign agent list on 16th of September. And then a day or two later, basically, Pugacheva said um, that I'm asking for to like my oh my god, I'm asking Ministry of Justice in Ministry of Justice. Oh my god, even saying this is insane in Russian. To basically include me in the list of foreign agents as well, because I am in total solidarity with my husband, who is honest, basically person, like true patriot, a true like unbribed patriot of Russia, who wishes Russia prosperity, peaceful life, freedom of speech, and stopping the war of our people for um, some imaginary goals which make our country an absolute pariah and burden in the life of our people. Um, Not particularly great sort of statement, in my opinion, because it's kind of a yeah. It's like half of it is about basically her family, herself and husband, but then it's like about wishes Russia all the best, blah blah blah, instead of focusing on the fact that Russian army has committed numerous like war crimes, and just the fact that Russia and Putin started this war is already war crime in and of itself, so on and so forth, right? So probably she knows what her audience is, as like 60 plus, whatever, uh, females most likely, like no, okay, not even 60 plus, but like 45 plus females, which a lot of them actually are brainwashed to the fucking nth degree, um, and actually support all of this garbage and eat all the shit that propaganda feeds them. I don't understand how it happens. Why, like, from my even experience as well, like, it's slightly more often that some like older female, older women who would support this war, or the government in general. I would hope that now with this mobilization decree or law, it will change, because now it will be about their children. And if they care about their children, they will have to make a fucking, uh, finally, will have to make basically, um, will have to make a choice. Do I love and care more about my own family, my own son, for example, right? Or do I care more about some illusory government and some fucking ideas that they fucking spread? Hard one, actually. I don't know if it's gonna if it's gonna actually if it's gonna go into the direction that I would want. But she did speak out, and 100,000 likes, which is obviously quite a lot, especially if we consider that Instagram is blocked in Russia right now, and this is giving her 3.5 million followers. So it's 25% of her followers actually went and liked it, and actually 114,000 people commented on it, which is absolutely enormous. Like, none of her posts have done anything close to that amount of comments. Like, if it's like 10, 20, 50K, it's like a lot. And to get 114,000 comments, that's insane. So she has definitely more power in terms of her image than Putin, 100%. Amongst the population, even those who support the war. So hopefully, what she's done is like enough to actually change the opinion of some people. And I've checked her posts. She's been consistently sort of against this regime, and again, she was talking about where's Nikita Mikhalkov, who was kind of good, I'm assuming, director, and now he's turned into garbage propagandist, brain dead, fucking disgusting cunt. And she was actually, I don't know, like the image for some reason on Instagram got either corrupted or it's my setup, I don't know, but she was talking about the death of Gorbachev and said that she didn't cry like that for so long. The whole era has been gone at this point. The era in which we've gained freedom, stopped being an empire of evil for the whole world, and the fear for the future of our own children basically has been eliminated. Gorbachev rejected violence as a method to hold, as a method of politics, and how to hold his own power, because he actually, he peacefully basically resigned, instead of doing what Putin is doing right now, start war and whatnot. Everyone is not without a sin, and then politicians as well. The main thing for the main thing is that for those mistakes to not become like deadly for the whole humanity. And yeah, she's basically saying that nobility is gone, and like humanity basically is gone somewhere as well. The ability to get some compromises and so on and so forth. Which is, yeah, it's interesting that she's also acknowledged that, because a lot of people in post-USSR countries, that they think that Gorbachev somehow collapsed, solo collapsed the whole Union, the Soviet Union, which is absolutely nonsense, and people fucking never read even a fucking Wikipedia article, apparently don't understand it, when 25% of your GDP is fucking is spent on absolutely garbage, unneeded weapons and military garbage. Like, your fucking country will collapse at some point, because that's just not normal. This is this is like, yeah, it's like your people cannot buy a fucking car, or you don't have like a dishwasher, or like a microwave, or some basic appliances that people in United States have been enjoying 20 years prior, and instead you have like tanks and BTRs, like fucking Kalashnikovs and whatnot. Like, who the fuck cares about all of that? And eventually it will collapse, and it did. And Gorbachev, yeah, is a hero, and yet, like I'm saying, in post-Soviet countries, is not the case, unfortunately. So it's been very nice to see her actually speaking out about this as well. Yeah, I didn't follow her life really, but it's nice to see that people who were brought up in USSR, who got like famous in USSR, she's still like, she's got brain, in her skull, which is amazing to see. So yeah, we'll see how her post will actually affect all of the public perception, basically, of whatever Putin is doing right now and will do in the future. I think she holds a lot of power, and she did actually return back to she and Galkin actually went to Israel, and I don't know. I don't think he returned, but I think she returned now into Russia. So yeah, and right now, I don't know who, but somebody asked basically to check her post, um, if she discredits Russian army or not. And that's another thing about Russia, is that it's a fucking scum country. Um, so apparently this like statement, not statement, it's like the application to check somebody, right? So there's like, there should be a better word. I'm so bad at English at times. I'm sorry. Um, it's like a clause. Yeah, I don't know, like statement. It's not. What's it's there? There should be some like legal term when you're filing a claim on somebody or something. Yeah, let's take a claim, a word claim. Um, Basically, some unknown citizen of Moscow region wrote this statement to ask basically government to check if what Pugacheva has said has written had written is actually discredits Russian army or not. So it's not even like the Kremlin, Putin, all of those kinds of propagandists, they were silent about it. They were silent as fucking, I don't know, um, what's the word? Silent as a mouse, something like that. And yet some cunt from Moscow region, so it's like adjacent to one of the wealthiest places in Russia, basically asked the government to check if she discredits Russian army or not. It's just, yeah, there are a lot of fucking shitty people in Russia. A lot of fucking atrocious people. Like, why would you even do that? Why would you bring government, this fucking totalitarian government, into this? It's disgusting. Absolutely fucking disgusting. Anyway, one more thing about the cunts in the government. Um, Co-author of changes, like Russia, literally yesterday or the day before yesterday, created or actually certain created certain changes in criminal code and added certain terms that were not there before. They've added basically mobilization. They've added wartime. They've added the term martial law, basically, and they've also added something about like the fact that if the government, like that law was already in place, that the government can ask your business, your private business, to work for the government and fulfill the governmental contracts. But now there's also sort of um, now there's basically things in criminal code that will make you a criminal if you deny this, or if you don't fulfill it, or if you decline, I mean, to work with them, so on and so forth. Previously, it was like administrative kind of offenses that would be punished by, whatever, some kind of a fine or something like that. And now it's jail time. So they've actually created the opportunity for the government to make you an offer you cannot refuse, quite literally. If you refuse it, you can go to jail. And it can be all about different things. It can be about making like a, I don't know, like it can be so simple as to like sue or like create, like what's it called, like, I don't know, even like a stupid example, even like underwear, socks and like underwear, or maybe sue like the bulletproof vests or something like that. Could be anything really. Whatever government sort of seems deems necessary at that point. So now all of that, like, so basically now you're like, now if you're like a middle or small business in Russia, now it might be a good time to pack your things and just leave the country. Because, yeah. But my point about this particular film is that despite the fact that the speaker Vyacheslav Volodin said that basically deputies and workers of Duma could be what's it called, volunteers, yeah, in the war in Ukraine. None of them actually, besides one, there is one Yuri Shvitkin apparently, who fought in Chechnya, and now he's the only one who apparently asked to join this war as well. None of the other ones has tried to join. None of them. Cunts who voted for this law, um, cunts who voted for this law do not want to go there. In fact, Vice Speaker of Governmental Duma, Pyotr Tolstoy, said that basically the question is that now we're doing that work, that kind of work that without us nobody will be able to do, basically. And that and he then clarified it about actually joining the army. He said, like, we already like joining the formation, basically. If you're like ready to join the formation, he said that we are already in the formation. Oh my god, like, you can't, like, I just thinking, like, even like Orwell when he was writing 1984, or Ray Bradbury when he was writing Fahrenheit 458, right? Do you think they really thought that things like that will become reality? Did they write about things that they've already witnessed at that time? It's just so absurd that with this like propagandist machinery, Russia has been fooling their own people, a lot of them, or at least like try to make them basically non participants in in politics, in political discourses, and so on and so forth. They're spreading things, they're spreading lies, they're telling lies so blatant, so insane. And then when people, reporters or whatever, asking them, okay, so you signed this law, you are one of the main people who actually signed this law, who created this law, are you willing to go and stand for your words, put your money where your mouth is, and actually go to the front lines, to Ukraine, or if you're like whatever over 60, is your child is your uh, yeah, is your child gonna do this? And they're like, well, we are already fighting a war here in Duma, fucking stealing money, basically. What they're not telling you, stealing money from you all. And it's a war now. It's a kind of a hard thing to do, to actually transfer all this wealth to some countries in the West. So it's already really really hard for us. But this is the reality. I just don't understand. This is just I'm living in such an absurd world because I'm so close to it all. Like, and in fact, like I am in all of this shit. It's just so insane to me. Like this is reality. This is the thing that governmental official who's on the fucking payroll of people. It's people who are paying his fucking salary. That he says these things and he does not give a flying fuck about any of that. Like if people in Germany, UK, United States, if anyone would fucking talk like that, they would be called to resign in like a fucking day by people, by protesting against them people. Here, nothing. Because it's normal. Holy shit. Let's talk quickly a little bit about economy. Basically, governmental obligations and stocks, Russian stocks, have absolutely fucking crushed um, to the lowest point since the first day of war. Actually, the losses in the 2 days of Moscow Stock Exchange actually work and dropped 20%. Losses are 20%, and yeah, it just happened. Just happened. And Russia couldn't issue their own governmental papers basically for 10 billion rubles. Wanted to do another 30 bonds basically for another 30 billion rubles, but right now they apparently couldn't do this for some reason. I don't want to talk about it too much, but yeah. Russian people will see a rise in gas prices 15 up to 15% in the upcoming 2 years. So while Russia has fucked over Europe and Russia refused to sell gas to Europe, that's like making money to Russia, right? Now Russian people will will have to kind of take the losses, take the L's on this, and now they will have to endure about 8% increased prices of in 1 year and about 7 in 2024. It's once again I'm reading all these articles, all these news pieces, and I'm just like, when at which point Russian people will start to actually go to the streets? Because this is just insane. Like this is literally Russian government switches the burden to fulfill basically the budget from Europe to Russian people who are already not particularly wealthy people whatsoever. Well, I don't get it. Like, I just do not get it. I don't get it. 60% less of export Gazprom has been doing in August. 60% less. So that's a giant hole in the budget, and that's kind of what Putin said, that is basically ordered, instructed, whoever he did instruct, his cabinet, whatever, to actually prepare for long-term problems with the budget. Just like, you, a fucking monster cunt, you have created all of these problems, and now you are just switching the blame from yourself to somebody else and telling them to, like, yeah, I fucked up, I fucked you all completely, but now you need to fix everything. Yeah, this is so insane. This is so insane. And apparently their Ministry of Finances in Russia expecting in the next 3 years for Russian governmental deficit to be, or for the differences between incomes and outcomes of money, right? The difference is 4.4 trillion rubles they're expecting, which is a lot. Mind you, I don't think Russian government did have a deficit in 2021 or 2022. I mean, it will have in 2022, but I don't have they've had a deficit in 2021. I think they've had a surplus, actually. And so you're going from a surplus in your budget to a deficit of trillions of rubles, which is like, whatever. I can't say about the amount of dollars, because it depends on how you can, at which exchange rate you apply. Either it's like a 60 rubles for $1, or it's like 80, or it's 120. All depends how you're gonna count it. But you're going from a surplus to a deficit in 1 year, and you are forecasting that it's gonna last for. I mean, it's gonna last now for a long, long time. But yeah. All right. Belarus actually said, the fucking cunts said that they will not sort of mobilize and sort of join whatever Russia, because mobilization is not about us. The country of Belarus and the people of Belarus and the country are already mobilized. I don't know what the fuck does it mean, but yeah. So far, Belarusian troops did not join the war, as far as I know, and yeah, at least something good to say about this fucking brain-dead country. And while we're talking sort of about economy, European Union decided or wants to kind of loosen their sanctions on Russian coal. So once again, Russian people cannot enter European Union because tourism is not an essential right of people. At the same time, trading, keeping your prices low, keeping your houses warm, keeping your economy going, not sort of not creating giant inflation, not creating giant problems. That's essential. Travel is not essential for Russian people, unless you're a diplomat or an actual fucking cunt with residency permit or whatever. Those cunts, Russian cunts, millionaires, billionaires, they can visit us. Just regular Russian tourists, no, fuck you. But we would like to buy coal from you, if we can, actually gas as well, oil, please. Just the hypocrisy. I'm so fucking sick of this shit. just this hypocrisy that Germany is. This is probably Germany is doing. Is it Germany? Who's doing that? I wonder who's doing that because it's not Poland. It's not Baltic states. I'm not sure who's doing that. In any case, just the fact that one loss for us, another loss for you is just so like it is the same disgusting shit that's been happening in Belarus and in Russia, and certain European countries, leaders, whatever, they keep doing the same shit, keep being dishonest, and it is extreme to me. It is extremely disgusting. If you want to claim that you are so much against Russia, you are so much for Ukraine, whatever. First of all, you should have switched and cut off Russia, starting in 2014, if not earlier, with actually invasion of Georgia or something like 2008. Should have done it way back when. But now, like you're like putting restrictions and then you're trying to actually loosen them. Stand your fucking ground, you cunts. Stand your ground. Yeah, it's gonna be shit. Your people need to understand that fucking energy doesn't come for free or for cheap, um, just for nothing, right? There are essential prices to pay if you are dealing with dictators and fucking kleptocrats and usurpers and authoritarians. That's the fucking price you pay. That's the price you pay. Sooner or later, that's the fucking price you'll have to pay. Everything has its own cost. So now if you are the fucking beacons of democracy, blah blah blah, fucking eat the costs. Eat it. That is your fucking that the like the whole situation, Russia, whatever. It is your responsibility and it is your fault as well. I fucking despise them. Whoever actually thinks about it. I fucking despise it. Actually, people are protesting against people on the streets of Russia right now, protesting against the mobilization. They've been protesting in different cities, which is, as you can imagine, this is exactly what happens. People are being detained, people are being beaten up, people, being detained, being beaten up. This is exactly what happens. This this is what Russian government can do. They can fight. They can fight against unarmed civilians. That's the only thing that they can do. And yeah, people are going to streets. I don't think it's gonna help, but at least they're doing this. I want to end today's episode with a few things. Right. First of all, there's this very interesting channel, Insights from Ukraine and Russia, on YouTube, and the guy basically um, takes the conversations that have been intercepted between Russians and translates them into English. So I definitely would encourage anybody who wants to hear basically things from the front lines as soldiers, Russian occupants are experiencing them. I would really encourage people to go to Insights from Ukraine and Russia and just read. You can probably hear even if you don't understand Russian, you will understand, you can hear the intonation of people most likely. And if nothing else, you can read it. That after successful Ukrainian counteroffensive operation, um, and after deoccupying basically Kharkiv region, a lot of Russians were sort of surrounded. There's not like nobody's coming for them. Their like commanders have been either killed or they've actually given very stupid fucking orders that led people to get killed, so on and so forth. So I would really encourage anybody to go and take a look at a few videos of this guy, because they're really great to better understand sort of the situation. Then let's take a look at a Putin who. This is Putin on the right is the Putin at this sort of whatever forum that's been going on just recently in September 2022 between like Chinese leaders, like Turkish leaders. I think Pakistan was there. Some like Asian like forum, something like that. I don't know exactly what it's been called like, but basically Putin on the left is the one from 24th of February who started basically the war, right? So like macho kind of knows what he's doing, right? And Putin on the right is the one who is basically replying to Indian or like Chinese officials that, oh, we understand that we understand your concerns and we actually wanted to end this war, but the Ukrainians, they don't want to have a conversation. Well, just look at the person, right? Like, this is night and day. This is night and day difference. Unfortunately, it didn't last forever, but this is something to be something to also notice. Like when Putin is actually talking to people who are more powerful than him, or equally as powerful, when he is like in a social surrounding, right? This is how he behaves. This is his body language. This is his eyes. His like twitching is. Every fucking leader made him wait, because that was this fucking shit that Putin was doing for years now. Basically, going into meeting and letting other person to wait them there, usually in front of cameras and so on and so forth. Now everybody's doing this to Putin. Everybody. And now this is the body language of a fucking person who's doing great in the world, like biting his lips and like searching with eyes and like twitching all the time. This is such a fucking stark contrast. Unfortunately, I thought it's gonna last forever. Unfortunately not. Right now, that on the videos that when he sort of said about the mobilization, his body language kind of changed to the one from the beginning of the war, basically, which is unfortunate. But it just shows, like, when he is in Russia, when he's in his cabinet, surrounded by all the yes men, he feels vastly different, rather than him being surrounded by other leaders who are probably telling him that what he's done is fucking giant mess and giant fucking shit. So yeah, just wanted to kind of acknowledge this fact that the fucking body language of that cunt is vastly different between sitting in his own cabinet and feeling like a fucking king of the world versus actually being exposed to the world and having to actually answer to people who ask him questions, important questions. So there's that. And the last one, just sort of to lighten up the mood, I guess. Just some jokes from Twitter. Just people writing. I want for Putin and Shoigu to come out as gays, and that they've decided to went to Taiga, to basically west of Russia. Aristovich, the official Ukrainian, who is he? He's like a head of some kind of something in Ukraine. I don't know. Whatever. People who are not who cannot basically create performance want to create mobilization. Yeah, sure. That why we're being transported to the front lines? I don't know, son. I'm not interested in politics. On 15th of September, either ЧВК Wagner, like private military company, which is not a private military company whatsoever. Wagner is basically Russian army. They just do it so they don't have to be responsible for war crimes. So either ЧВК and what is it, like prisoners, or your kids. 21st of September, it is your kids, quite literally. So we don't have a war, but we have a mobilization. That's a royal fuck up or something like that. Then we have this very good movie reviewer, but comedian, who was saying, who was like laughing at Hunger Games. He was saying that he was laughing at Hunger Games. Oh my god, I think I clipped heavily. He was laughing at Hunger Games, saying that in real life, it cannot be like that. That your kids will be taken away from the parents, and they will be sent. Sorry, let's do it once again. So we have this bad comedian, is like a movie reviewer, very good one at that, and he was saying that he was laughing at Hunger Games movie, right, or books for that matter, but it was about the movie, that, and saying that like it's impossible that in real life it cannot be like that in real life, that children will be taken away, kids will be taken away from parents, and they will be sent to die, and parents will not oh my god, will not what, rebel. So dot which is exactly what is going on right now, or what will be going on right now. Kids will be sent to die, and yeah. Will parents actually revolt and rebel? I don't know. I really don't think so, unfortunately. That generation of like my parents, it's really, really fucking bad generation, to be honest. So, Shoigu, losses of Ukrainian army, about 100,000 people. Losses of Russian army, about 6,000 people. That's why Russia needs to mobilize 300,000 people. That's a really strong mathematics. Which is exactly true. I also told you about the people who were fucking having Z fucking symbols, and now you can only have like you can only see on their cars, and now you can only see the glue marks, and somebody's like trying hard to remove it all. Oh my god. Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. And so we were saying that, yeah, and in this time Russians are denied visas, which is, I agree with her. Like, there are people who don't want to do that, and who don't feel like they will be able to, overthrow the regime by themselves, for fuck's sake. And yeah, it's hard for people to get out of Russia. Yeah. In any case, I think we're gonna end here. I don't know what's gonna happen next. Unfortunately, things are like after successful Ukrainian offensive operation from 6th of September, basically the next week. I was feeling very optimistic as as well as many other people, to be honest, who are against Russian and Belarusian, for that matter, government, and who are for Ukrainian people, for Ukraine country, and now things are looking bleak as well. Looking bleak once again. Oh my god, I'm losing my last two brain cells. Now things are looking bleak. I don't think. I mean, I know for sure Ukraine will win this war. Russia will never be able to beat Ukraine. Will never be able to capture Ukraine. Well, Russia will lose in this war. The question is how quickly it will happen, and at what cost. And the thing that kind of worries me right now, and kind of the questions I would like. Well, I don't want to have answers to that questions in the sense that I don't want to see it in reality, but I would want to have a definitive statement from NATO members, from like United States, from UK, about what will happen, what is the course of their actions, if Russia will actually use small nuclear warhead on the territory of Ukraine, what they will do, and also I would like United States to remove that limitation they put on Ukraine about like those long distance missiles that can be launched from HIMARSs, and they can range up to like 300 kilometers, I think, or something like that. Because right now, what Russia is doing, they're bombing. They're just being purely terrorist state. They're like literally bombing, shelling power plants, dams, basically civilian infrastructure. They're just trying to do as much damage to Ukrainian people, regular people, not an army, because against a Ukrainian army, Russia can do sweet fuck all. And now they're just trying to terrorize the Ukrainian people. I would like to see United States lift those restrictions, and so if Russia bombs Ukrainian power plant, Ukraine in return can bomb some sort of power plant on the territory of Russia or Crimea, doesn't matter. So that Russian fucking cunts would know that the second they bomb Ukraine, their territory will be bombed as well. This is something that I really, really, really deeply would like to see. Otherwise, what is happening right now doesn't make much sense, because, yeah, if Ukraine cannot respond with the exact same thing that Russia is doing, like it's unfair. It is like if you're like a kid in a school and like a slightly bigger kid tries to beat you up with like a fucking baseball bat, let's say, and you can only use your fists. It's like, excuse me, it doesn't work like that. I need to use a bat as well, because otherwise I can't fucking reach them, and it's unfair. So hopefully, after this mobilization thing in the next couple of days, I really would like to see UK, United States, Ukraine to pressure them, to give them long-range missiles so they can actually fire to the territory of Russia and destroy infrastructure on the territory of Russia. And because they will be very precise with them, I'm pretty sure the amount of civilian deaths will be very limited, if any at all. So that's really something that I would like to see. That's for sure. And yeah. Dispatch, thank you very much for following on Twitch, and yeah, appreciate this. It's unfortunately the end of the episode, but I hope you can check out the YouTube channel. There's way more things, and I will also publish this episode very soon as well. Yeah, I would definitely want to, like I said, see these two things. See the definite reply what the West will do if Russia uses nuclear weapon on the territory of Ukraine. And I want to see, like, not we will see. I want to hear a thing like, we're gonna strike Kremlin or something like that. We will like respond in the harshest way possible, so that those who are responsible for ordering such a command to strike whatever Ukraine with nuclear warhead, they will be dead. I want to see that kind of reply. And at the same time, like I said, I would like to see the long-range missiles in Ukraine. Okay. I think it's the end of this episode. And criticaldiscussions.net, a lot of links there, all the relevant links on YouTube channel. I have a lot of more material. There's a lot more past episodes, short clips from the episodes, all that kind of stuff. If you can support it, I would definitely deeply appreciate it. All the links, once again, criticaldiscussions.net. And yeah, we'll see what the next week or two will bring to us. Okay. Slava Ukraini. Glory to Ukraine. I hope they will win. I hope they will win as quickly as possible. And yeah, till the next one. Take care, guys.